We're out here at the world-famous Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas for the OPTIMA High Performance Expo. There's a lot going on out here for fans and participants at this 3-day event, but the main thing we're here to see is the Ultimate Street Car Challenge and the World Championship Autocross. Both of these competitions have a winner-take-all $25,000 cash prize. We're not covering the play-by-play, but we are going to give you a closer look at some of the cars that caught our eye. So let's go check out some of the cars here at the OPTIMA Batteries High Performance Expo. So we're here with the fastest car at the road course Time Attack. And Feras, you're the fastest dude, and we really like your car. It's badass, it's raw, and it's really quick. You want to tell us a little bit about the story of you and your car and how it came to be?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. It's not easy. The thing's a handful to drive. But yeah, so the car originally was supposed to be like the backup car. I had a 72 Nova that I pro toured and started road racing with, and I wanted to build a faster car, and I knew that car wasn't going to be it. So I bought a Corvette, this Corvette, and in the back of my mind it was, the temporary car, and I was going to build a tube chassis, race car pretty much. But the more I started racing the car, the more I invested in the car, and then this ended up being the car. So once I realized this is gonna be the car, I started, doing stuff like Time Attack and going to events like Grid Life and Global Time Attack. And I had a big 468 cubic inch NA motor. And then earlier this year, I won Super Lap Battle, and their grand prize was Garrett Turbo, a free Garrett Turbo. So luckily we won, and now we twin turbo the car. So it's just a mixture of different stages, and that's pretty much how it came to be.
Now, I guess we'll start with some detailed stuff. Now, your engine's really trick. You want to tell us a little about it?
Yeah, so it's a 430 cubic inch LS7 built by LME, and it's dart and sleeved. It's still the factory LS7 block, but just dart and sleeved. Wiseco pistons, Calyx crank, Molnar rods, and then Brodux heads, the BR7s with Inconel valves, and the Atomic MSD manifold.
What kind of cam are you running?
Comp.
Is it a hydraulic still?
It's still hydraulic. I think we wish we would have went solid, but it's their comp shaft mount rockers.
How high do you rev it?
So I didn't want to take it to 75 because I got Super Lap coming up in a couple weeks, but I was hitting 7,000 and just holding it there. But it'll rev to 75 as it sits.
That's pretty awesome. Now, you're running a dry sump with this?
I am. I have a ARE dry sump pump and then a Peterson tank as well, and that's what's behind the shield and the passenger side.
And the pretty unique turbo kit, did you do that yourself?
Yeah, so myself and the guys at Pikes Performance, Adam, he helped me fabricate it, and we just came up with the idea. I wanted to put it out and be exposed, and just easy to work on, and so we kind of worked on it together and kind of built a kit ourselves.
And it's based off of like the stock LS manifolds, right? So it's really reliable. You don't have to worry about it cracking.
Yeah, and that was the other thing too, is we wanted it to be as easy to work in as possible. And the factory LS3 manifolds are a 2-bolt flange, and if something happens to the manifold, you can find it really anywhere for dirt cheap. So I could take this kit off in like a couple seconds with just unbolting the 2 bolts and removing the V-band clamp, and it's all off.
Now, everything being a quick release, you actually change the turbos in between events, right? You have a different turbo for autocross and a different turbo for the road course, right?
Yeah. So the guys at Garrett, they are awesome. They hooked me up, and I told them we're doing this autocross event and I needed something to spool up quicker. So they sent me the G series, the 3900s with the 61 housing, and that was specifically just for autocross. But what I did find out was it actually works really well on the road course too, because my idea was put those on for just autocross and then swap to the 35 series for road course. Well, when we saw the power that it made and how it didn't drop off, and how fast it spooled, we were like, well, this might be a great combo for road course too. So I came here with both turbos, with the idea of swapping them out, but we didn't have to do that, so that was pretty awesome. And it's awesome that Garrett makes a turbo that will spool that quick, but yet still carry all the way up to 7,000 RPM.
Now, how much power does your car make?
So this weekend, it's making 900 to the wheels and 930 foot-pounds of torque.
Okay, that's a lot to handle for rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's a lot on a 285 street tire, and that's what we're running this weekend to get the gearing as what we need for mile per hour.
What are you doing for engine management?
Motec M150 is what's controlling, and that's the G-Speed spec Motec, so they program it with everything that still functions the factory BCM. And then they go in there and obviously they manage it through the engine, and they're managing boost and traction and everything else.
So what kind of fuel are you running? Ethanol?
Yep, ethanol right out of the pump.
Okay, awesome. And you're running pretty big injectors and a pretty big pump?
Yeah, it's the T1 pump, the brushless pump. And then the injectors are 1300 fuel injector connection.
Right on. Shoot, to get all that power to the ground, I mean, you probably have some pretty trick stuff going on in your drivetrain, right?
The only real thing in there besides the sequential, right? I mean, the sequential is the heart of this whole thing that makes it as fast as it is. But the drive shaft itself has billet couplers to help support the power. The sequential manages all that because PPG makes an amazing sequential that handles like upwards of 3,000 horsepower. The guys at Calvin Motorsports have, the roll race Vipers making crazy power, and they're using the same sequential that's in this car, so we know it holds the power, and so that's what's managing the power to put it down, and then as fast of a gear ratio that it is helps us accelerate, so it's a win-win for us.
So your PPG gear set's close ratio, right?
It is. It's a 1-to-1 gear straight cut, so it's pretty awesome.
What clutch are you running?
Quartermaster, it's their 7 1/4 twin disc.
Man, a twin disc handling all that power, that's pretty crazy.
I know, and when I first started going down this road, I didn't really think about it. I thought, okay, there was no way I was going to handle it. And so I already went and I got a triple disc from a different company. Well, the more I talked to my buddy, Mike Dussault, he was like, I have a 7 1/4 twin disc in my car, why won't it work for yours? And it's like, kind of clicked for me. I was like, well, yeah, you're making 1,000 horsepower, but everyone else I was talking to was saying there's no way a twin disc is going to hold it. So at the end of the day, we went back to the twin disc. We saved a lot of weight, and it's holding all the power.
That's pretty cool. What kind of diff and final drive are you running?
So diff is still factory. That's something that we plan on improving here pretty soon, and it's still the factory final drive, the 342.
Okay. Suspension's really important. Now, you said you had Penske's. What kind of Penske's and what else is going on in there?
So the Penske, is the same thing, G-Speed. I reached out to them. It's their 8300s coilover. And then the sphericals that are in the car as well for the control arms are a G-Speed spec spherical. I think they make it in-house as well. And then we ended up getting the fat sway bars front and rear. Okay,
and you have Alcon brakes?
Alcon brakes, yeah, and the kit that's on this car is unique to this car. I think, pretty sure this is the first 380 millimeter rotor kit they've made for a Corvette, or for a C6 Corvette. But yeah, we had a hard time with keeping the thermal capacity on the smaller rotors, and we were melting brake pads left and right and overheating, and so they ended up stepping it up and going with a 380 and using their caliper, and the thing's been awesome, and it's running PMU pads, and I have nothing but amazing things to say about both Alcon and PMU.
What's going on for Aero?
Aero in the rear, we have the APR GT 1000, and with that, I did a test just in an autocross because this weekend was a big payout for autocross, and a wing at autocross speed was worth 1 second.
1 second on like a 40-second course?
Yeah, you're right, and it was at 30, 40 mile an hour speeds, that it was even effective, where I thought there's no way this thing was going to be effective. And the car was out of shape. It was a mess. And even the people that were watching and working the course were like, we thought that was a totally different car. Like the way that thing was moving, and it was all over the place. But that wing is amazing. It does work at minimal mile per hour, where, you know, I thought it wasn't going to do anything. This whole design's made me a rear diffuser, and then the front is a homemade splitter.
And because of rules, you can't run the flat bottom, right?
Yeah, no flat bottom on the car, not yet. So.
Well, this car is really sweet, and thank you very much for taking the time to let us catch up with you and talk to us. I know you're busy with all the running you've been doing, and well, thank you once again.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's an honor.
So here we go, the fastest car of the event.